So now let's go a little bit deeper into kind of the nuts and bolts of DigiDiff. One of the coolest things, in my opinion, about DigiDiff is our DiffDesigner engine. So if you're poking around inside the parameters of the plugin, you'll see DiffDesigner. So one of the things that you might want to do over time is if you have a preset that you tend to gravitate towards, so let's do soft effects. And over time, you might feel like you want to tweak this actual preset. You can do that within DiffDesigner. Now, the way you do that is you'll notice that whenever you select a preset, all of these individual parameters are grayed out. The way to open those up is to first select the preset that you want to edit. So if it's soft effects, you're going to first select that. Then what you're going to do is go to custom, which should be at the top of the list. What this does is this keeps the parameter values of the last selected preset, but then opens up the parameters to be adjusted. So let's say, again, you have soft effects. You'll notice that if I choose black satin, these parameters change. Then I can go to custom and they open right up while keeping the same parameters. I'm going to go back to soft effects and then choose custom. And what you'll see here is our diffusion is modeled based off 3 individual characteristics, one of which being the core, which is the hot center of the diffusion around a bright area of your image, the body, and then the fall off, all working outwards. So if I zoom in here on my talent's face and I make some strength adjustments to my core, you can see how the diffusion reacts. I can also adjust the size of the core, and then I can work my way down. So the body then works off of where the core was, and the fall off then works off the body. So they all work together to create the overall look and feel of the diffusion. And then to further tweak this, you can then use overall size and overall strength to further tweak any adjustments you made within DiffDesigner. So moving on to this next clip, I'm going to demonstrate how you can take DiffDesigner a step further. So let's say you want to create a preset all from scratch. You don't want to base it off of a existing preset. You want to start something completely new. DiffDesigner allows you to do that. So what you can do is pop over to custom if it's a fresh start of the plugin, or if you had a preset selected next, you can go to custom and then you can just reset all these parameters to 0. Now, the best way, in my opinion, to create a preset from scratch is by isolating an area within your viewer that will give you a good representation of the diffusion, which I think is here. And just starting from the core and working your way out. So we have a brightly lit window with a diffused curtain that is on the opposite side of our talent here. So I think paying attention to how the diffusion reacts around the silhouette of our talent's face is a good area to focus in on as we design this diffusion profile. So I'm going to start with my core, and I'm just going to increase the strength to about 0.3. We're not going to see anything just yet because our size is still set to 0. And then I'm going to start walking up my size. Now I want this diffusion in particular to fit tightly to areas of high contrast within this shot. So I'm going to keep my size relatively small, probably around a 7. And I'm going to increase my strength. So it's a pretty strong core. You can see there how it's already affecting the image if I on off it. I might even go a little bit smaller. Let's go to 5. Now moving on to the body of my diffusion here. It's going to work off of core. So they all kind of work together. I'm going to increase my strength and then walk up my size. So let's go with a 12. And I don't want it to be too strong, so we'll go with about a 0.2 in strength. And I'll move on to my fall off, which I do want to spread a little bit wider, but I want it to be faint. So I'm going to turn up my strength just so I can see it. I'm going to increase my size, and I'm going to walk my strength back down to a level that I like. So about there. I might decrease the strength of my core a bit and increase the body a hair, and boom, there we go. So this is a preset that I've made completely from scratch, and you can save this, go down to the custom preset name, and we can save it performance shot, save the preset. You'll see it immediately update within your preset window, and it'll be saved here at the bottom. Now, if you want to update the preset, let's say we use it later and we want to make some adjustments and save it, it's easy to do. Just make your adjustment and then do update preset, and then it'll be saved within the preset. Same thing for removing. Just make sure your custom preset is selected and then hit remove preset. It'll remove it. It'll remain here. So in case you did that by accident, you didn't just delete a preset, it'll remain under custom. But then if you click off to any other preset, then the values are lost. So that's a little fail safe in case you accidentally misclick. Moving on to the next shot, I want to showcase one of the more unique features to DigiDiff compared to other competitors on the market, and that is diffusion tint. So within optical filters in the real world, there are some that introduce various amounts of warmth to your image, such as antique filters, stuff like that. And that's something we wanted to give users an opportunity to emulate as well. So what we did was we came up with two color models, both a CCT and a hue color model. Now, first I'm going to jump into a preset that has some tint applied, one of which being warm black pro mist and the other one being bronze glimmer glass. So I'll start with bronze glimmer glass. And this one is subtle, but you can generally see a slight warmth added to this diffusion. If I open up the preset by going to custom, you'll see that there is a hue applied to the diffusion. If I click on this little color dropper, it'll bring up a color wheel, and you can see that there's a slight yellow to orange push in this diffusion. If I kind of adjust it here, you can see how it acts on the image. Now, if I jump over to the other preset, which is warm black pro mist, it uses the other color model, which is CCT. So if I open it up by going custom, I'm able to dial in exact Kelvin points of warmth to the diffusion. So I can go to 0, which is just as is, and I can dial in warmth like so. This is really cool because both models offer a different approach. The CCT is modeled after the real world blackbody radiation curve. So these values are highly accurate to what you'd expect in the real world. And the hue model allows for more free-form expression. You could also get really weird with it. And for more abstract projects, add, red diffusion or certain colors. So diffusion tint just gives you that extra bit of control in your grades and really lets you dial in your diffusion to best fit your project.